Okay, here I am. Um, so, without further ado, I'll get into the story here, but this is a kind of a continuation of my last video. So, let's get started. Um, anyways, um, I did a video on Thebes Points, couple that I found, or well, three of them that I found. These are the only three Thebes Points that I've ever found. The other ones that I'm going to have here, they came from collections, or I inherited them from other people. Um, Different stories and that I can go into that a little bit more when I discuss those. But yeah, you've seen this is my original Thebes that I found, the very first one I ever found, and out of the shotgun black. And this one's also this is like a shotgun gray that I found. I found, like I said, all three of these, and this one also is a shotgun gray. Also, what's unique about these points is that each one of these. Let me see here. Let me go with this one. That's a little better detail. This is Now, Thebes points come with three different types of notching. There might be more varieties, but this is the ones that I'm most familiar with. There's what's called a dog leg Thebes. If you look here, the notches kind of come in from the side, but then they curve upwards. Kind of have that swoosh, that swooping motion upwards, and that's what's called dog leg Thebes. Okay. So you can see, all of these are obviously dogleg Thebes style notches in them. They come in and that. This one's got some breakage on, so it's kind of hard to really see those barbs, or those shoulders where the notching would be. Um, but like I said, there's a couple other varieties of Thebes points that are notched, and that's what we're got right here. The other popular notching style for Thebes would be pretty much just a straight in notches. They kind of come straight in off the sides, kind of off the sides or off the corner. Still has kind of that same, rounded kind of a base. The base can change a little bit too. Some of them are concave, some of them are just straight across, as you can see. But like I said, they all have that beveled edge, that opposing beveled edge on them. Okay, this one I believe it's got an old cataloging number. This one I purchased down in Berlin, Ohio, which is a Amish community. They're kind of off the grid, live the traditional life like people would have lived, 150, 200 years ago. They're an agrarian group. Most of you probably have heard of Amish people, but this one was was a point that was found somewhere in Amish country in Ohio. Very beautiful point. That one's a purchase right there. Um, and then moving on, we'll talk about this one in a minute. That's also a kind of a side notched Thebes, like it's a little different style than these dogleg Thebes styles here. Now the other style that Thebes come in is they'll have what's called E-notch. E-notching, or sometimes they call it keyhole notching. Let me see if I can zoom in here a little bit. Okay, you see how the notches kind of come in from the side, but they come in and they take a flake off uh, to the north and south, kind of, or whatever. They kind of go in. I call it a Y notching, kind of. But what it does is it keeps the notching that the maker was doing from stalling out. And everybody knows what that does flint knapping, what a stalled notch is. That's where you press a flake off, and you can't get another flake to run when you flip it over, because there's no platform to take the next flake off with. So what e-notching is they would come in and they would take a small flake off in the upward direction, take one off in the downward direction, and it would leave this little nipple on there. You can see that little nippled barb. That produces a next striking platform to further keep the notches going in deeper and deeper. Kind of a unique style, and so these are called E notches, because if you kind of look at them, they kind of look like the letter E in there. That's a real good example right there. You can see that little tit, or that little tab. That would be the next striking platform if the maker wanted to choose to go further in and make the notch deeper. But yeah, this is what's called an E notch Thebes. And again, it's beveled. It's got that opposing bevel. And this one was from an estate sale, or an old collection. That's how I got some of my purchased items come from that. My buddy and I, we used to go around and seek out people's collections, old collectors, and if, say, we heard wind that somebody had passed away, or the family was trying to sell the collection off or whatever, my buddy and I would pool up, some money, and sometimes a couple thousands of dollars, and we would buy a whole collection, and then we'd split it up and cherry pick it. Cherry pick whatever we wanted for each of our own collections. So that's how this point came into my collection. Is this was like an estate sale, or a collection purchase, and this was one of the ones that I selected from that collection. And it's a beautiful E-notch Thebes point. This one here is also a E-notched point. The only difference with this one is you don't see the nipple, or that little striking tab in the notches as much. That's possibly because they had broken off. Maybe the maker just kind of ticked that off or whatever, and that was the way he wanted to finish it. But this is another style of an E-notch. You can see a little bit of the E-notch here. You can see the little cone flakes. There's like one here, and then there's one up above, and then you get that little remnant of a striking platform, or a nipple on there. Kind of the same thing as like how Clovis points, they would flute the Clovis. They would put a little striking platform or a little nipple there, and they would press off of that, and that would drive the flake off. It's kind of the same little similar concept, but on a smaller scale. But yeah, this is a beautiful Flint Ridge Thebes Point. This one was from Fairfield County, Ohio. And yeah, it's probably one of the few. I only have a few pieces in my collection of Flint Ridge material, but this is a beautiful Thebes, and it's got that opposing bevel also on the edge there. So that's another E notch. So these two are E notched Thebes. Let me tilt this down a little bit. And then these three in this cluster, these are the dog leg style, which comes in and sweeps upwards. And then you have the straight in, or kind of slightly angled, kind of coming straight in, kind of a notch like this. On this style, that would be called straight notched. Now this one is also a straight notched side notch, kind of a Thebes right here, and you can see they got heavy polish, big robust bases to them, because these were actually used as knives. Unless maybe something got resharpened and small to this size, maybe they might have used as a projectile point. And you can see this has got a very extreme bevel on it. This one was probably much bigger at one time, probably as big as some of these other ones. It's just been resharpened down. It probably was about like that one there, original. So anyways, this one is a unique point, and it's the only piece in my collection like this. And what makes this unique is it's got this really super old catalog sticker on there and number. This is actually a Thebes point that came out of the Edward Payne collection. He was an extremely famous Indian artifact collector back in the day. I think he lived until 1933. And I'm going on just some notes that I just kind of looked up and read up on it. But Edward Payne was he lived in Springfield, Illinois, and he was a prominent banker in that city of Illinois, and he was a real estate investor also. So he was a multi millionaire of the time, and so he used to hire people to go out all over the country and do picking for him to buy and purchase pieces for his collection. His collection supposedly was it would fill a boxcar, a railroad boxcar full of items from his collection. His collection was huge, and story goes is that during the Great Depression he lost all of his fortunes, and a large portions of his collection got sold off and got distributed to the wind, just got cast to the wind. And I just happened to have been lucky enough to find a original Edward Payne collection piece. So that's why this piece is kind of very unique and special, because there's very it's not common that you'd come across a piece that was from his collection and with his cataloging sticker on there like that. But yeah, so that's this Thebes, which is like I said, it's very unique find. I believe this was from some sort of an estate sale that I happened to come across this, and at the time I had read about the Ed Payne collection, and kind of knew what they look like, their catalog stickers, and some of the history behind his collection. And when I seen this in an estate sale, I snatched it up and got it. I can't remember what I paid for it. It was probably at the time probably 300-400 bucks, maybe $500, but that was probably almost 30 years ago, maybe 35 years ago. So that that was a high price for even back then. So anyhow, just wanted to share these. Like I said, Scott had asked some more questions about Thebes points, so I thought I would just make another video of them, so you could kind of see the different styles. Because I know Scott's a flint napper, and he made a beautiful example of a Thebes point. He's from Great Britain, and he used some English flint to nap out that Thebes point. And I was kind of tickled to death and excited that he was inspired enough to give it a go and make something like that. So anyways, I wanted to help him out and show him some Thebes points, and I'm sure everyone else would be also interested in the different styles of Thebes that are out there. Like I said, they're all basically the same characteristics. The bases are usually about the same shape. They always have that beveled resharpening style to them. And yeah, the main thing that's unique is just they have several different types of notching. It's not like a Dina points or a dovetails, some of those type of points, or a pine tree, they have the same style of notching in every single one you see. Where with Thebes, they're unique because any Thebes you see in a collection, they could have any one of these three styles of notching to them, which is unique. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be posting some more. I'll probably do my big keeper frame of archaic and woodland points probably coming up in the upcoming weeks. I know next week I'll be doing some running around turkey hunting, so I may not be able to post any artifact or flint napping videos, but I'll have something, I'm sure. I'm going to be filming while I'm turkey hunting, so, and the whole trip up to northern Michigan. So, anyways, hope you enjoy, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a good one.